Thank you, Mr. Frost.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So audits are one of our best tools in ensuring oversight and accountability. They give us a chance to look at the financial records and accounting documents and ultimately ensure that assets and liabilities are tracked over time. That is, as long as we're achieving an unmodified or clean audit. Mr. Manfield, very simple question. When did the Department of Defense go through its first full scope consolidated financial statement audit?
That's 2018.
2018. Mr. Manfield, did the DOD achieve a clean audit in 2019?
No.
What about in 2020?
No.
What about in 2021?
No.
2022?
No.
Year after year, we hope that the DOD will attain a clean audit, and year after year, the DOD fails. DOD is the only major federal agency with this level of consistent failure as it relates to an audit. Mr. Khan, in an attempt to meet the essential standards of accountability, some components of the DOD introduced reforms, including correcting around $5.2 billion in cost assessments and innovations like the deployment of hundreds of bots aligned to financial management processes. Why have these measures all failed to get DOD to have a clean audit?
The issue at DODs are much more pervasive. Some of what you mentioned, I mean, those are the bright spots. It is helping that DOD is embracing technology and using some of the robotic process automation. It is freeing up the resources to be able to do more analytical work. But the problems are very pervasive across DOD, and that's why it's taking them time.
DOD's antiquated and mismatching financial management systems are a cause for concern. It's part of the reason that they've been on the GAO's high-risk list since 1995. Yes or no, has GAO ever outlined what DOD could do to get them off the list?
Yes, we have.
Go ahead.
It's on a high-risk list. We have 5 removal criteria, and we've been very specific as to what DOD needs to do to come off of the list.
And there's been many agencies that have gotten on this list and been taken off, have followed your recommendations. Usually when GAO gives recommendations, how long does it usually take for agencies to implement them and get off the list?
The one parallel I can draw is DHS, which is a much smaller agency. It took them 10 years from inception to getting a clean audit opinion. Having said that, they continue to be on the high-risk list because of some issues they're having with technology.
Failing an audit doesn't necessarily indicate that funds are being misused or lost funds. In fact, people can achieve a clean audit and still be misusing funds. However, I refuse to accept the status quo that DOD just can't get a clean audit. Mr. Mansfield, when does DOD estimate that you'll be able to pass a clean audit? Oh, can you turn on your mic, I think?
The DOD has estimated that they are looking at 2028.
2028.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Khan, does GAO agree with that estimate, and what does GAO see as the roadblocks to achieving that timeline?
They need to have better plans. We don't have a timeline projected for DOD, essentially because the audits are still continuing. The scope of the audits is still expanding. So the complexity and difficulty of the remediation activity is still unknown.
And I agree with what my colleague just said before me. Look, I'm not just here to rail on DOD about this. We know that it's an issue. We want solutions. So from any of you, what can Congress do to help DOD get off of the next GAO high-risk list? I don't think 2028 is acceptable. What can we do to make sure that DOD gets off the high-risk list for the next GAO list that'll come up?
The main issue is capacity to modernize their system and to have their workforce trained. They are understanding the financial management function, and so that they also understand how to use the new financial systems, the automated systems. That is critical. Then they need to have better action plans, which are detailed. That's one of the areas where DOD has slipped. They have not adequately defined the action plans, so the dates come and go and they get extended. Then finally, they need to have better monitoring mechanism to be able to monitor where the deficiencies are and to be able to address those risks before they become a crisis.
Thank you. Congress is poised to give the Department of Defense $844.3 billion for this year's NDAA. how can Congress continue to justify giving these increases when you can't even pass a clean audit? It's not fair. It's not fair to the American people. In fact, I don't believe Congress can justify it. And so I hope this gets fixed. Thank you. I yield back.